This is ABC 7 News This Morning.
Other news, federal judge James Zagel delays the sentencing for former Illinois Governor Rod Blagojevich.
It was scheduled for October 6th. Zagel did not offer an explanation, but defense attorneys say it was postponed because the date conflicted with the start of another trial. That defendant is a former Blagojevich fundraiser.
And attorney Thomas Glasgow is here now with more on the twists and turns of this Blagojevich case. Always good to see you, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So it's basically because of the Cellini trial, correct?
That's correct. They essentially don't want to have the sentencing at the same time that they're doing the jury trial for William Cellini. William Cellini's trial starts October 3rd. The sentencing was scheduled for in the middle of that. The sentencing for Blagojevich is going to take roughly a day. You don't want to taint the jury pool from one trial to do the sentencing of another defendant. Okay. Because you're going to be bringing out all sorts of aggravation. And remember, the government is asking for somewhere between 30 years and life in their pleadings, and they are going to be presenting evidence to show why Blagojevich is such a bad person. These are things that are going to be in the news, and the jurors are going to hear from this, and if not from themselves, they're going to hear it from friends or family, and the possibility of tainting that jury is so great, you just want to put that sentencing over. That sentencing is going to happen, and it can happen after the trial. The trial is expected to take around 3 weeks, so it's okay to put it down past when the trial is going to end.
So now, Thomas, the judge did not offer another date for the sentencing. Is that just standard?
Well, you don't know how long the trial is going to last. And if we get into a trial that lasts 4 weeks or 5 weeks or 6 weeks, you don't want to have to reschedule that a second time. So more than likely, he's going to wait until after the Cellini trial is done. And remember, Cellini dealt with Resco and the TSA and dealt with the teachers issue, all the things, the fundraising that happened with regard to Blagojevich. And this is the last really big prosecution from this particular investigation.
Well, let's switch gears now and talk real briefly about the Indiana lawsuit Alisha Brennon filing against the state of Indiana and the fair and all this stuff in the death of her partner.
Correct.
What can happen there, and why is it such a tangled web?
It's interesting because Illinois is one of 5 states that deal with that actually recognize civil unions. In other states, they don't recognize those civil unions, and in order to sue, you have to be, in Indiana, you have to be either next of kin, related by blood, or next of kin related by marriage or adoption. And because they don't recognize the same-sex marriage, that puts them in a position where she may not have the legal standing or ability to actually bring this lawsuit. And that's really the question in this trial. Is she going to be able to bring the suit based upon her relationship here in Illinois? And it's also very interesting because once you cross state lines, when you recognize the fact that someone is a married couple here in the state of Illinois or has a civil union and have the intent to have a family, and they cross over to, say, into Wisconsin or Indiana that doesn't recognize civil unions, do they then become legal strangers for that particular state?
So in this case, it will be testing all of that. Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
Wow. All right. That which was the reason for civil unions in the first place, was to be able to get those kinds of
protection.
benefits.
And it's interesting. I mean, if you get divorced in Illinois, you're going to be recognized in the state of Nevada. If you get divorced in the state of Nevada, you're going to be recognized in Illinois. That's the argument that they're going to have, that since this state recognizes it, another state should, and it should be under equal protection. You should have that right.
All right, Thomas. Thank you, as always.
Thank you, Thomas, for coming in this morning. It is 6:07 right now. We're going to pause.